The psychology behind elicitation. To understand why elicitation is so effective, we first need to understand human psychology. Every conversation follows an invisible social rule. When someone asks us a question or shares something about themselves, we naturally feel the urge to respond. Psychologists call this the principle of reciprocity. If someone shares information, we often feel comfortable sharing something in return. Another reason elicitation works is because people love to feel heard. In everyday life, most conversations are filled with interruptions. But when someone gives us their full attention, maintains eye contact, and genuinely listens, we tend to reveal more than we originally planned. This isn't because people are careless. It's because trust can develop surprisingly fast. Common elicitation techniques. One of the most common techniques is called the false statement. Instead of asking a direct question, the person intentionally makes an inaccurate assumption. For example, instead of asking, "Do you work remotely?" they might say, "I guess everyone at your company works from the office." Many people immediately respond, "Actually, we only go in twice a week." Without realizing it, they've provided the exact information the other person wanted. Another technique is called selective ignorance. Someone pretends not to understand a topic, encouraging the other person to explain it in detail. For example, "I've never really understood how cybersecurity teams operate." A knowledgeable person often feels motivated to explain the entire process. Another powerful method is bracketing. Instead of asking for an exact number, someone provides a range. For example, "I'm guessing your project budget is somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000. People often respond by correcting the estimate. "No, it's closer to 200,000. Again, information is revealed voluntarily. Real-life examples. Imagine you're attending a business conference. During a coffee break, someone starts a friendly conversation. They ask what industry you're in, then they ask what projects you're excited about. Soon they're asking about your team size, your clients, and upcoming product launches. None of the questions seem suspicious on their own, but together they build a detailed picture of your organization. Now imagine someone sitting next to you on a flight. The conversation starts with travel, then work, then your career, then future plans. By the time the plane lands, they know far more about you than you intended to share. Most people would simply describe this as good conversation, but it also demonstrates how easily information can be collected through natural dialogue. How to recognize elicitation. So how do you know when someone is trying to gather information? The first sign is an unusual amount of curiosity. The conversation repeatedly returns to your work, finances, routines, or future plans. Another sign is when the person rarely shares meaningful information about themselves. Instead, they keep encouraging you to talk. Pay attention to conversations where every answer leads to another detailed question. Healthy conversations are balanced. If you're doing almost all the talking, it's worth asking yourself why. It's protecting yourself. The goal isn't to become suspicious of everyone. Most people are simply making friendly conversation. However, it's wise to think before sharing information that could affect your privacy, your workplace, or someone else's security. If a question feels too personal, you don't have to answer it. You can change the subject. You can give a general response instead of a detailed one, or you can simply smile and say, "I'd rather not get into that." Protecting your information doesn't make you rude. It makes you aware. Ethical communication. The same communication skills used in elicitation can also be used for positive purposes. Teachers use them to encourage students to think more deeply. Therapists use them to help people express difficult emotions. Journalists use them to understand complex stories. Leaders use them to build stronger relationships with their teams. The techniques themselves aren't good or bad. Everything depends on intent. Communication becomes ethical when it's based on honesty, respect, and informed choice, not hidden manipulation. Conclusion. The next time you meet someone who seems incredibly easy to talk to, pay attention to how the conversation unfolds. Are they simply a great listener, or are they carefully guiding the discussion? Understanding elicitation doesn't mean becoming fearful of conversations. It means becoming more aware of how information flows between people. Because in today's world, information is one of the most valuable assets we have. And sometimes the most powerful questions are the ones that don't sound like questy,